everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we're making this cute little Santa ornament. This is so fun to make. It's super easy too. And we're just going to be making this little thing. Big thank you to Red Heart Yarns for providing the yarn today. We're using Red Heart Super Saver yarn. This is basically a scrap yarn project, so you don't need a whole lot of yarn for this thing. You're also going to need some polyfill, a stitch marker, which I only have an extra piece of yarn to mark my rounds, but if you have a legit stitch marker, you can use one. You're also going to need a scissors and a yarn needle, and the crochet hook we're using today. In this demonstration, I'm using a hook from the Etsy shop Would Be Fancy. You can find the Etsy shop on Etsy and the links in the description of this video to get these fancy hand-carved ergonomic crochet hooks. Like I said, we're using the F hook that's 3.75 millimeters, so make sure you have that handy. And you're going to need some polyfill. We're going to stuff this little thing. So we're going to make it from the bottom up, and then we are going to make the hat separately and sew it on, and then we're going to add this little beard and give it a little trim. So it's a lot of fun today. So let's just set all this aside and get started. Let's grab some of this red yarn and we can make this Santa ornament. Let's start out with a slip knot. So put your short end over your long end, fold that down, and then pull that through and pull tight. Insert your hook and we can start. So with this red yarn, we are going to start off by chaining 2. So yarn over and pull through 1 and 2. And in the second chain from the hook, we are going to put 6 single crochets. So go into that chain, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that's a single crochet. So you have to put 6 of those in there. So that was 1. Go back in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. There's 2. Here's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Fabulous. Now grab that stitch marker. We're going to mark our rounds. So I'm just going to grab this yarn here. Feeling quite festive with the green and red. So now, and we're also going to be working in in the back loops only throughout this pattern. So the both loops usually we work in are this front loop and back loop like this in our stitches. Okay, front and back, front and back, front and back. But actually we're going to work in the back loops only. So this is the furthest loop away from you is the back loop. Okay, we're going to work in those back loops. You can work in both loops, but actually it's best to work in the back loops only, especially when we get up to the face part, because we're going to be attaching the beard yarn pieces to the front loops that are free. So I recommend just working in the back loops throughout this whole pattern, okay? So going on to this next step with round 2, we're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So go into here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, there's 1, go back into that same stitch in the back loop only, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So there's 2 single crochets in that one stitch. Now hop to the next stitch and put 2 single crochets, whoopsie, 2 single crochets in there, 1 and 2. Fabulous. Go on to the next and put 2 single crochets in there. At the end of round 2, we will have 12 single crochets. And I'm more than halfway there, so you can just continue watching. Remember, working in the back loops only. So once you finish round 2, you can count back, make sure you have your 12 stitches, and then move your stitch marker up. Going on to round 3, we are going to increase again. Let's put 2 single crochets in this next stitch right here, back loop only, 1 and 2, and then just put 1 single crochet in the next stitch right here, 1. Okay, then 2 single crochets in this next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and just repeat that all the way around. 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch. At the end of round 3, you'll have 18 single crochets. This reminds me of how we made that tree. I keep getting reminded by that Christmas tree ornament that we made earlier. I think that was like number 2 ornament in our 12 Days of Christmas. Alright, just one more repeat here. Going on to round 4, we're going to move our stitch marker up. Okay, I have 18 stitches around here. Moving the stitch marker up, going on to round 4. we're going to increase again. So back loops only. We're going to put 2 single crochets in this next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, 1 and 1. Then repeat that sequence all the way around. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in each of these next 2 stitches. 1 and 1, and just repeat that. So at the end of round 4, you should have 24 single crochets. So I'm just going to do that, and then I'll meet you back up, and the next clip will go on to round 5. Going on to round 5, we're moving our stitch marker up. You should have 24 stitches around right now. For round 5, we're going to do 1 more increase. So let's put 2 single crochets in this next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches this round. Okay, 1, next stitch 2, next stitch 3, and then we're going to repeat that sequence all the way around. So go into this next stitch, put 2 single crochets in this next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in each of these next 3 stitches. So 1, next stitch is 2, and the next stitch is 3. And just repeat. At the end of round 5, we will have 30 single crochets. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll meet you up for the next round. Alright, just finished round 5. I have 30 single crochets around. Now moving the stitch marker up for rounds 6 through 10. So 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The next 5 rounds, we are going to be putting 1 single crochet in the back loop of each stitch around for the next 5 rounds. So round 6 through 10, I'm just going to put 1 single crochet, no more increasing. Just 1 single crochet into each stitch. You'll see this is going to start to bowl up. It's already bowling up, so we're going to have like the sides now. And you can see on this Santa here, we're making these sides, okay? So then I'm going to do round 6 through 10, and then I'll meet you up. We'll go on to round 11 next. Alright, I just finished rounds 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now we can go on to round 11. We are going to decrease. I'll move my stitch marker up to round 10 here. Alright, so round 11 sets 2 single crochet 2 together. So go into this first stitch, remember back loops only, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch right here, yarn over, pull through. So we have 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And that's a single crochet 2 together, or a single crochet decrease. Then we're going to just put a regular single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So 1, next stitch 2, next stitch 3. And then we're going to repeat that sequence all the way around. So single crochet 2 together, so go into this next stitch, yarn over, pull through, go into the next, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and then single crochet into the next 3 stitches. And repeat. So do that all the way around, and I will meet you up at the end of this round. You should have 24 stitches then. And then we can go on to round 12. Alright, just finished round 11 there, going on to round 12, moving the stitch marker up. So you should have 24 stitches around. We're going to decrease again. So let's single crochet 2 together. So go into this first stitch, yarn over, pull through, next stitch, yarn over, pull through. Remember back loops only. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And for this round, we're only going to put a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 1. And then repeat that sequence all the way around. So single crochet 2 together, like that, and then single crochet into the next 2 stitches. At the end of this round, you'll have 18 stitches, but the very last stitch on this round, we are going to change color, and I'll meet you up to do that next. Alright, so I'm on my last repeat on round 12 here, just gonna single crochet 2 together, and then we have to single crochet in these last 2 stitches, so we'll just go into this stitch here, and then this very last stitch on this round we're going to change color. So go into the stitch and yarn over and pull through with the red, just like that. Now drop the red yarn, and we're going to grab like a skin tone color, whatever color, like a tan, tan color you want. You could choose any color you want, really. Just making Santa's face here. We're going to hook on this new yarn and pull it through those 2 loops to finish that stitch off. And then pull your old red yarn back. Oopsie. Keep that loop on there. There we go. And just like that, we have a new color. Now we are going to move our stitch marker up, and for rounds 13 to 17, we are going to single crochet in each stitch around, okay? Very similar to rounds 6 through 10, how we just single crocheted in the back loop of each stitch around. We're going to do that for these next 5 rounds, just 13 through 17, putting 1 single crochet in each stitch around for a total of 18 single crochets on each round. And when I'm finished with round 17, I'll meet you up. We will go on to round 18 together. Alright, I finished rounds 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. I'm going to actually pull this loop up here and remove my hook. And I cut this red yarn, the old color, and you can kind of see if I put this inside out here, you can see the 2 strands. We are going to tie those in a knot and just shove those strands on the inside of our work. Okay, so they're hidden inside. So you can see I'm just tying them into a knot, the old color and the new color. Okay, just like that, and then shove that inside of your piece. And now what we're going to do, okay, so this is the back side of Santa, so you can see that when we change the color right there, we want that to be in the back. So we're going to flip this around, and before we go on to the next step, I do want to grab some black yarn, and we are going to make 2 eye dots. So let me grab some black here, and my yarn needle. And we are going to yarn our needle with the black yarn here. I'm just going to make 2 French knots to make the eyes, okay? And we want to make them on around, let's see, 13, 14, 15, around 16 here. So 13, 14, 15, 16, right around here. We're going to go from the inside out, okay? Pulling up some yarn, just like that. And now what I'm going to do, I know I've showed you how to make these eyes before in other video tutorials, but I'll show you again. We're going to have this yarn here. I'm going to put my finger like this, so it's going over my finger to the back. And then I'm going to take this yarn here, or this, I'm sorry, this needle here, and go from the front of this line right here. Okay, so I'm going to go into that. Just push it back, and then come up and twist around right next to my finger, right here. Okay, then I have this on the needle right here, and we're going to go into the very next stitch on our piece right here. Okay, into the inside. And then we're just going to pull. And you want to pull both sides of the yarn, just like so. And there's a French knot. How fabulous! So now we want to make the other eye. So we're going to skip over a stitch or 2, and we're going to go from the inside. Okay, I still have the yarn on my needle. We're just going to go over a stitch or 2 right here into the inside here. Pull tight, secure, and everything. And now the second French knot we're going to make is going to be a little bit trickier. We're going to do the same thing, so hold it around your finger like this from the front, push that yarn back, and then come up the side and loop it around just like that. Hold it on your needle here. Go into the next stitch right there. Okay, but now what we have to do is move everything to the right. So we're going to slide all the yarn, this knot. We don't want to pull it too tight here. Let's get this out of the way. Right here, I'm going to pull this out of the way. Okay, this knot right here that we created, this loop, we're going to push it over to the right. Just keep pulling this to the left right here. Okay, just like that. Pull it tight as you can, like that. Not too tight where it like stretches out and looks weird. So there we go. And then just pull it in. And there's the other eye. That was pretty simple. It takes a little bit of practice to do that. I've been making French knots for a long time, and so now I know how to do them. So now what we're going to do, I cut that yarn. We're going to tie them in a knot on the inside of this head here. So let's just tie this into a knot and then shove that into the inside of the body. All right? The next thing we want to do is make or stuff this thing and then close the top of the head. So let's stuff this with some polyfill all the way in there. Okay, gotta grab some more polyfill. Ooh, that's a lot. I grabbed a little too much there. Let's see here. Just stuff it however comfortable you are with stuffing it. Don't stuff it, or don't overstuff it so you see your polyfill through your stitches or anything. Just enough. It's like a little bauble Santa. It looks kind of funny. Well, right now it looks angry because we don't have his jolly hat or his beard on him, but once we get the beard on him, he'll look like jolly old Saint Nick. So now we will go on to the next round, which, you know what, I'm just going to remove my stitch marker here and put it at the top. Right here. Okay, so I'm just reinserting my stitch marker where it needs to be. And we are going to decrease for round 18. So let's single crochet 2 together. So go into this first stitch, back loops only, remember, yarn over, pull through, go into the next, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Just like that. Then we are going to single crochet into the next stitch. So just put a regular single crochet in there. And now we're just going to repeat that sequence all the way around. So single crochet 2 together, and then single crochet into the next stitch. Then single crochet 2 together, and then single crochet into the next stitch. At the end of round 18, you will have 12 single crochets, and I'm actually working quite fast here, so you can just continue watching and we can go on to our last round where we're gonna close this baby up. If you need to, you can stuff this a tad bit more at the top here, just to get a little bit more stuffing in there. So now I have my 12 stitches. I'm going to move my stitch marker up, and we're going to go on to our last round here. Actually, I need a little bit more stuffing. Ooh. Stuff, stuff, stuff. Alright, so because this last round is going to be a little bit more difficult to stuff this thing. Okay, so this next round we are going to single crochet 2 together. So go in to this next stitch, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and we're going to do that specific stitch 6 times. So go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, go into the next, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. There's 2, so there's 3. It's going to get really tight at the top here. Here's 4 and 5, and our last one is right here, is 6. Perfect. Now the very last step, which is actually going to be covered, you want to go into the very next stitch right here in the back loop, and then the one that's straight across from it, stitch number 4, so you can see stitch number 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go straight across to this one right in the back loop of that one, like that, okay? And we're going to single crochet those 2 stitches together. So yarn over, pull through both of those layers, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then chain 1, and we're going to cut our yarn and fasten this off. So pull through that chain 1. I like to just go through these stitches down here and grab that yarn that I just cut and shove it to the inside of this little thing here. And then remove the stitch marker, kind of shape Santa. Doesn't look like Santa right now, actually, but it will, I promise. Okay, so there's the little bauble so far. Okay, so now we have to grab some more yarn and, oh, you know what, let's make the beard first before we make the hat. So let's set aside everything. What I have here is some strands of white yarn. Okay, you're going to need a few strands of that. And what we're going to do is take these strands, they're about, I would say, I don't know, 8 inches, maybe 9 inches, but you don't need them to be that long. We're just going to fold them in half like this, okay? And we're going to take our crochet hook, a crochet hook, there we go, and we're going to go across this line here for round 13 and round 14. Okay, and just right around the eyes, just these few stitches in the front here. So I'm going to start on this side and I'm going to start on this stitch right here. So I'm going from the bottom and we're working in those front loops. I'm going to hook this on to that hook and, oops, there you go. I'm going to pull it through that front loop, just like that, to the bottom, okay? And then I'm going to hook those 2 strands through that loop that I just pulled through, just like that. And then we're just going to pull that tight, like that. Okay, and I'm going to do that across this way here. So again, I'm just going to fold this in half, go up from the bottom, the very next stitch right here, hook on the yarn, pull that through, and then hook those 2 strands on and pull them through that loop, and then pull tight. Similar to like a latch hook method there. Okay, and we're just going to do that across for about, I would say 7 stitches across here, and then probably just 6 stitches across the top on this next row too. And then once I have, it'll probably be about, I don't know, 11 or 12 of these. I'm thinking probably 12 of these little strands attached as the beard. Then once we have those, we'll fray these out. As you can see on my other Santa that I had made, I frayed these out and then I trimmed it. So obviously these are really long. Oh, he's getting away from me. Obviously these are really super long, but we'll fray them out and then trim them to the size that we want them to be. So I'm just going to do that. And then once I have them all on, I'll show you how to fray out the beard. Alright, so I attached these pieces and now I'm just kind of fraying these out. So I want to show you how to fray these little strands here. So I'm just going to take one of the strands of yarn, okay, and we're going to like untwist it. I'm just going to twist, twist, twist. And I used my yarn needle, but if you have nails or something, you can use those too. Just pull it apart and then pull it apart again and then kind of just pull it apart again. Okay, and then next, go on to the next. So just untwist, and then your needle can fit in between the strands, and then just pull. And that's fraying the yarn to make it look more like a curly beard. And this you can do this for beards, you can do this for hair, for dolls, for amigurumis, whatever you want. So that's just a cute little extra detail and a nice little technique to use. Just separating the yarn, and it curls up because of the twisting. It just has that in it. So I just have these 2 more strands left here. Let me just do those real quick. And then we're going to trim this beard. Santa needs a little trim. So what we're going to do now is shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. So this is what the beard looks like right now. So really you want to eyeball it, kind of like this. Give him a little thing there. That looks really silly right now. Okay, so now what we're going to do is give him a trim. Just want to straighten this out here. And this is kind of like if you mess up, you're gonna not have a good beard. So just start from the bottom, and I'm shaking because I'm like so nervous to like mess this up. So I'm just gonna start here and just trim it. No regrets. And you can trim it round. Oh my goodness, I'm already screwing up. And around. And just be careful with your scissors. And that looks terrible. Okay. There we go. You can do a round beard, a pointy beard, really any type of beard you want. And kind of give him some layers. Give him some detail to it, you know? There we go. It's looking good. Okay, Santa's got some beard game going on there. Awesome. And then you can flatten it out. Maybe bunch it up just a little bit. Make it look good. Oh, there's a little extra strand right there. There you go. Is it like all scraggly or whatever? And there's Santa's beard. So you can make it however you want. Make it nice and beardy. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of push this up a little bit because I don't want to see those knots very much. Okay, so I'm going to kind of hide them behind there. And you can do whatever you want with it. Okay, now we just have to make the hat. So I'm going to throw these scraps away, and then I'm going to grab some more red yarn, and we are going to make Santa's hat. Alright, for Santa's hat I'm going to start with red, and then we'll move into white later. So let's make a slip knot. Put your short end over your long end, then fold this down, and then pull that through and pull tight. Insert your hook, and we can start. Let's start out just like we did round 1 of Santa's body. Let's chain 2, 1 and 2, and put 6 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I am going to grab my stitch marker. We are going to be working in continuous rounds and in the back loops only, just like we did for Santa. So now what we're going to do in rounds 2 through 5, so 2, 3, 4, and 5, the next 4 rounds, we are going to just put 1 single crochet in each stitch around, in the back loops only. So for a total of 6 stitches each round. It will be a little small, a little tight, but it won't be too bad. We'll just do those 4 rounds, and then we'll increase for round 6. Alright, just finished round 5 there. I did rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we're going to move the stitch marker up and we're going to go on to round 6. And the only increase we're doing is just putting 2 single crochets in the first stitch. So go into this very first stitch right here and put 2 single crochets in there. 1 and 2. And then in the rest of the stitches on this round we're putting 1 single crochet. So there should be 5 stitches left here. Let's count them. 1. Here's 2, remember back loops only. Here's 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so you should have 7 stitches then on round 6. Going on to round 7, or move our stitch marker up here, we're going to increase again, just repeating that last round. So just put 2 single crochets in this first stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the rest of the stitches around. There's 6 stitches left then. So on this round there will be 8 stitches on round 7. And then we are repeating the same thing for rounds 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay? And after round 11 you should have 12 stitches. So just keep repeating that. Just move your stitch marker up, put 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the rest of the stitches around until you have 12 stitches around. Okay, so this is now round 8, I'll have 9 stitches, then round 9 we'll have 10 stitches, round 10 we'll have 11 stitches, and round 11 we'll have 12 stitches. Once I have my 12 stitches, I'll meet you up and we'll go on to round 12 together. Alright, just finished round 11. I have 12 stitches around, so you can see that increase there. Looks pretty good. So now going on to the next round, we're going to move our stitch marker up, and round 12 says to increase 6 times here. So let's put 2 single crochets in this first stitch here, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch right here, 1. And then just repeat that sequence all the way around. So put 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the stitch after that, 1. And then just repeat 2 in the next, 1 in the next. And at the end of round 12, we'll have 18 single crochets. So then I'll meet you up for round 13. Alright, going on to round 13, I have my 18 stitches around. So round 13, we are going to just single crochet in each stitch around, no increasing or anything. And the very last stitch of this round, we are going to change to white. So I will meet you up when I'm finishing up round 13. Just put 1 single crochet in the back loops of each stitch around, and then we'll go on to 14 with change color. Alright, just finishing round 13 here. When you have one stitch left, we're going to go into that stitch, yarn over with the red and pull through, but we're not going to yarn over with red. We're actually going to grab white and hook that onto the hook and pull it through both of those loops to finish off that last stitch. And now we have white on our hook and we are working with the white yarn. Okay, similar to how I changed color on Santa's body. So now what we're going to do for rounds 14 and 15, we are just putting one single crochet into the back loop of each stitch around. And I'm going to drop here, I'm going to cut the red yarn back here, and then I'll tie these two in a knot just like I showed you earlier. So I'll do that off camera, but I'm just going to single crochet for the next two rounds, rounds 14 and 15, just put one single crochet in each stitch around, and then I'll meet you up for round 16 where we are going to do an increase. Alright, just finished round 15 here. Got to do another increase, so if you need to, you can pull up your stitch marker, but I kind of lost it in there. So you can see, though, the marked round is right here because we changed color. So what we're going to do is put 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 1. And repeat that sequence all the way around. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, 1 and 1. And at the end of this round, you should have 24 single crochet stitches. So I'm just going to do that, and I'll meet you at the end of this round, and then we'll go on to the next round. Alright, I'm just kidding, this is the last round. So I just finished this round. Round 16 is our last round. You should have 24 stitches around. We're going to fasten off, so slip stitch into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then chain 1. And we're going to cut our yarn long for sewing. There we go, and pull it all the way through, and then pull tight. Okay, you can remove your stitch marker, and there we have a cute little Santa hat. I do want to make a pom, though, before we attach this to the head. So let's grab some more white yarn. And I'm actually making a really simple pom, and you can make one you know, using a small palm maker, but I'm just going to use my 2 fingers here. So this is what I'm doing. I'm kind of separating them a little bit, and we're going to hold the strand like this, okay? And we're going to wrap about 15 or 20 times. It's totally up to you. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, get more yarn here, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay, then we're going to cut that. We're going to take that, put it on this side, around to this side here, and I'm running out of yarn here. Let me pull my yarn. There we go. So I have this strand on this side, this strand on this side, okay, long strands, okay, and with one hand it's a little difficult, but we need to use our other fingers and tie a knot. You can use your mouth, maybe. There we go. Just tie a one-time knot around the center here, just like that. Oops. There we go. Okay, so it's tight. Then we're going to take our scissors. Just be careful. I'm going to use the rounded part of my scissors to cut the top here. There are also ways to make poms, you know, other ways, but I'm just going to use my fingers real quick on these tutorial. Okay. And then you just want to cut the bottom side too. Just like that. Okay, then take your long strands. You want to cut the yarn from the ball of yarn. So we have 2 long strands. And what we're going to do now is tie this in a tighter knot. Okay, just like that. Then take these long strands and hold your palm. I know it looks really terrible right now, but we will give it a little haircut, kind of like Santa's beard. Okay, so we're going to hold it like this, and we're going to just trim. And give it a good trim. Make it look more like a palm than a disaster. There we go. Kind of rough it out. There we go. And maybe go a little shorter on this side. Just give it a little haircut. And practice, you know, making these small, tiny palms. Just like that. Alright, I think I'm happy with it. As I cut more. I'm happy with it. Cut more. Okay, there we go. Now, let's get these scraps out of the way. Okay, grab your hat, and what we're going to do now is take one of the strands and the yarn needle and go through one side and then up through the center, like that. Okay? And then take the other strand here, yarn your needle, and then go on the other side, the opposite side where you did this side, so go to the opposite side right here, and go up, in, and then through the middle. Okay? Then we're going to take this and kind of position it at the very top, and pull those two strands, and then tie those in a knot. Okay. Once you have them tied in a knot, you can grab your yarn needle and take both of those strands, those long strands, and then yarn your needle with both of them and go back into the middle where they came out of, and then sew them in. And you can even go all the way through the whole hat if you can fit it in there, and then pull. And you can see that I'm trying to pull it through the hat. But it could be a little difficult. Almost got it. There we go. Okay. Now you can shove all the strands inside. And now we can attach this to Santa. So let's grab Santa's head here. Put this to the back. Make sure that color changes in the back, just like this piece right here. This color changes in the back, right there. Okay? Position, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Position this how you want it. Okay? Grab your yarn needle and that long strand from the hat. And we are going to sew this to Santa. Alright, so we're just going to go into Santa and then out the hat. And we're basically just going to pin this down. Just go into Santa's head and then out the next few stitches there. Okay. In here. And then out there. And all the way around. Oops. There we go. Alright, then when you come back around, we gotta tie this off. So we're just going to go underneath some of the stitches and into the hat. Keep our finger in that loop, come back through that loop, and pull tight. And then you can just shove this into the inside of the hat, or into the body of Santa, doesn't matter, just to hide it. and then cut any extra, stretch it out to hide that inside, position this where you want it, and just make the rest look good. And then you can, if you want to, you can pin this down like that, or however you want Santa to look. So one last thing, I just want to grab some yarn here, get our yarn needle, and we have to make this into an ornament. So if you have a piece of ribbon or a piece of extra yarn or something, you can put it through here across the hat in the back there. Okay. And then you want to measure out how tall you want it to be. Wrap this around your finger, cross it over, come back up through that loop and push those two strands in through that loop, making sort of like a slip knot, but going all the way through. And then you want to just pull, make sure that the strand is long enough to hang on the tree. Looks good. Cut any extra. Take your hook, go to the inside, like this, grab that knot. I just like to hide the knot on the inside, so I'm just going to pull that in. Oopsie. I'm going to try to pull it in. There we go. And then, once that's all pulled in, these little strands are hidden, we have our Santa ornament. How super fabulous. Thank you so much for watching and learning how to make this silly Santa. Big thank you to Red Heart Yarns for providing the yarn, and big thank you to my dad for filming, editing, and making the photos. These are so cute. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can get more crochet tutorials and notifications when we post our next video. And make sure to share this video with your crochet friends, and if you make this, share the photo on Facebook and Instagram and hashtag YARNutopia so I can see it. Alright everyone, I gotta clean up my scrap mess, but I wish you happy holidays, and as always, happy hooking!